Steve, Canadian Sasquatch, coming at you with a Mead Monday. What's a Mead Monday, you ask? It's a Monday where we talk about mead. I will start off by going over a mead, a commercially homebrewed, whatever type mead, and then I'll answer your questions. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Hit me up on Twitter at Canadian Sasquatch or the Canadian Sasquatch on Facebook. So let's get right into the mead of the day, which is Griffin Meadery's Fuego. So it is a honey jalapeno wine with wildflower honey, and I can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a bunch of sediment in there. So let's go ahead and get this thing open while I talk a little bit about it. So it is from Griffin Meadery, which is up in Willis, Texas, which is just north of Houston, Texas, which is where I'm at. I know, confusing, Canadian Sasquatch, living in Texas. So they were at the local farmer's market one day, a couple of years ago. So this is a couple of years old, this bottle. And they were handing out samples and stuff, and some of their stuff was okay, some of their stuff was not so okay. This was one of the ones that was okay, so I figured I'd get some of it. So yeah, so we got it cracked open. So how I'm going to do this, I'm just going to do a quick review similar to how I do my mead challenge reviews, and we're going to base it on the label, the aroma, the appearance, and the flavor and overall. So let's get this into the glass. And right off the bat, we are going to go in for the aroma. So right off the bat, I get the jalapeno heat smell. Anytime you've had jalapenos or cut into them, you get that burst of when the heat of the jalapeno just bursts into the air. You get that burning sensation. It's a little smoky. Definitely fresh jalapenos with just a hint of smoke on it. I don't get much of the honey aromas though. So let's go ahead and it is a murky peach orange color, which is not what I would expect from a mead or a jalapeno mead. I would expect more clear, maybe slightly green from the jalapenos, I don't know. But for a commercial mead, I would completely expect that to be clear. It is not. So not looking good so far for them. So yeah, so that's the aroma. Let's give it a flavor taste. Cheers everybody. Happy Mead Monday. Okay, so now I'm getting some of the wildflower honey on it, and some of that heat that I smelt, the jalapeno heat, it is there. A little bit of the raw jalapeno flavor is also there. The mouthfeel is thin. I would put it semi-sweet, kind of on the drier side of sweet, maybe. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to be. If you've watched my reviews, you know I like to put my meads in the fridge, chill them down, let them warm up. Today, for these, we're doing them backwards for time. So I have the mead, and I have ice. So we're just going to toss the ice into there, give it a little bit of a swirl just to cool it down, see how it goes. So as it cools, the flavors do get a little bit more subdued, and I do realize that it will water things down as the ice melts. Taking that into account, since it's already fairly thin, yeah, the flavors are becoming a little bit more subdued. The heat is a little bit less there, but that's probably because it's being watered down more than cooling down at this point. So yeah, with that, let's go on to the scoring of it. So the first thing is a label. It's got a nice label. It does tell me that it is a honey jalapeno wine, so I know there's honey in it, and I know there's jalapeno in it. So I'll give the label a 1 out of 2 on that. A little bit more information would be nice, like how did they treat the jalapenos or anything like that. So from there we go into the aroma. Like I said, it was a nice jalapeno heat smell off of it. Not so much any of the honey. As it cools down, I do get more of that jalapeno aroma. I'll probably give it probably about a 6 out of 10. The appearance, it's cloudy, not very pleasant to look at for a mead. So I'm going to have to go with a 4 out of 10 on that. The flavor, again, it's fun because it's got the jalapeno and the heat and all that, but there's just not that much other flavor to it. So I'm going to, right on the border, a 5 out of 10. And then my overall impression is, it is all right. I would not suggest buying it. If you got a bottle laying around like I do, go ahead and drink it. But at this point, yeah, probably just a 5 out of 10 on that. So yeah, so the final score is 1, 10, 11, 21 out of a possible 42. So it's like right there at the border. Again, that is the Griffin Meadery Fuego. So the second part of Mead Monday is where I answer your questions. But since this is essentially the first Mead Monday, I'll just go into a little bit about what is mead. Since some of you people are just searching the YouTubes for the first time trying to figure out what is this mead stuff, and mead is essentially just honey, water, and yeast. Because it is that simple, it is one of the oldest alcoholic beverages known. They 7,000 BC in northern China. That's how, where, and when they've managed to date things back to, just based on the residue of some clay pots that they found. But it is not just honey, water, and yeast. As we discovered with Fuego, you can have other things in it. They added jalapenos. You could add other fruit, oranges, blackberries, cherries, whatever fruit you can think of, vegetables, chocolate, spices, pretty much whatever you can think of, you can flavor a mead with. So yeah, that's essentially what the meads are. And then lastly along these lines is there is a misconception that a mead is always like super sweet, quite often cloyingly sweet, or just like drinking a vat of honey. But that is not so. Just like wine, you can have different kinds of sweetness. You can have a dry mead, you can have a sweet mead, you can have a semi-sweet mead, you can have a semi-dry mead. You could have a mead that is essentially just a vat of honey that you pour into, well, spoon into a glass or anything along those lines. So depending on what your palate prefers, it could be, there is definitely a mead for you, whether it's dry or sweet, whether it's a traditional, whether it's a jalapeno, chocolate, or what have you. There's just a wide range of meads that you can have with that. And that's it. Mead Monday is coming to a close. Like I said at the beginning, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, or hit me up on Twitter, or on the Facebook. Those links are also down below in the more description info, whatever that thingy down there is. And shoot me your questions. I'll give you answers. And we will continue on next Monday with another Mead Monday. And everybody, be sure to have a pint of awesome. I know I will. Probably not this though. So happy Mead Monday, everybody. Cheers.